Hey folks, Little John in the brewery. First brew for 2020. It's been a bit of a wait, been a long time coming. I've been flat out, finally get around to brew day. So what I'll be doing today, first up is the brew I said a while back when I first got my first Patreon. I said I'd do a brew in that fella's honour. This is that brew. So that fella's name is Terry Meisner, and it just hit me back straight away. Terry Meisner, let's do a Cherry Weissner. I normally do a cherry beer around Christmas, New Year. We've been up here in Young in the cherry capital. There's cherries. So I normally do a cherry beer of some kind. And so just bang, was like easy, Cherry Weissner. So we're going to do a wheat beer with some cherries in it, pushing the flavour. I did do a cherry wheat beer quite a few years ago. It was the first cherry beer I ever done. So I'm going to take what I've done there and just improve on that a little bit. So I'm going to do a fairly standard German wheat, about 55% wheat, 45%. I'm going to do a mix of pale ale, Marisotto and Pilsner malt. And I'm going to bitter with some Hallertau, and that's it. Fairly straightforward. I will be adding around 1 kilo of fresh cherries into the boil, and then I'm going to be adding, it's about 1.5 kilos of cherries which I boiled up the other night. So it's not a puree as such, but the cherries have broken down, released a lot of the juice, so there's a bit of a liquid and whatnot, and then I'll be adding that to the fermenter about 4 days into the ferment, once the ferment's actually got up and going and really started and it's working along, and I'll put that in then, so that will allow the sugars and things to get consumed by the yeast. So I've worked the beer initially on about as it being about in the low 4% range, but I'm looking at 4.3. The reality is I would expect it to come somewhere in the low 5s by the time we allow for the additional gravity from the cherries and the sugar. That's going to be hard to measure exactly, because I'm not going to be able to measure what effect putting those cherries into the fermenter is going to have. So we'll be a little bit blind on the full ABV, but yeah, that's not a biggie. So going to get the grains milled up and get them mashed in. I've got mashed water on 68 degrees at the moment, so I'm planning on a 65 degree mash. I'm going to run through the mash, the sparge. Once I've finished with the grain, I'm going to take off some, and I'm going to do a smaller batch, which will be on a different video, so I won't go too much. I won't go into that really right now. So that's it. Cherry Weissner underway. So let's get it happening. So I've milled the grain in a bucket, and I've added a good couple of handfuls of rice hulls, just to try and make sure we get a good circulation through the grain bed with all the wheat. Don't want to be getting the stuck mash. So the water's at 68 at the moment. I'm looking for a mash temp of 65, so we'll see how close we get to that. Get in here. Now I've gone a little bit higher on the mash water than the recipe calculates. I've gone about 20% more water than it said, just to try and keep that mash a bit thinner, just to try and make sure we don't get stuck and keep a good flow through the bed with this much wheat. I've not used anywhere near this amount of wheat in the rubber, so we'll see how that goes. Good mash in, give a good mix. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, it's a fairly thin mash. Okay, it's still showing 67 on the sensor. I'm going to take a little bit to settle as it circulates. That's fine. Oh. Okay, let's just drop the, oh, it's alright, just there. All good. Drop the rubber cap. Top plate in there. Drop that in. So, look at that. 10 minutes now to settle before I put the top on. And then going to mash that for 60 minutes. And we'll ramp it to 72, and then we'll basically sparge from there. Not going to do an elaborate mash on this fella. So yeah, we finished the mash. Did 60 minutes at 65. I ramped it up to 73. Nice and slow, just using the 500 watt element, and then got a bit sidetracked to help the whiskers with a few things, so I've been running at mash out for about 40 minutes at that 73, so just shut that off now. We'll get the arm out, and we'll get the malt pipe lifted. We'll get the sparge on. Now the mash didn't stick as such, but it didn't drain. It wasn't running through completely. It was getting a little bit of run over the overflow, only a real slight amount. So I'm thinking I'm going to get a reasonably slow sparge here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put as much of the sparge water in here as I can, and just let it run through in one batch. I can. I'm going to hold over the top of the overflow. It's draining very slow. That's alright. So I'll go through with this. I'll get this starting to heat up to a boil. That'll start heating up as we sparge. When you come back once the sparge is done, get through the hot break and we'll get a pre-boil reading and look at some hops. Right, masher's finished. Pull the sparge. It's pretty much drained. Took a little while longer than normal, but we got there. And we will appear to be very close to spot on pre-boil gravity, which is good. So we're at a boil, breaker's finished. One single edition, 60-minute edition of Hallertau. And that's us, so that will boil for 60 minutes, an hour. And then we will chill this fella. Alright, boil's ticking along nicely. About half an hour in. Time to get the cherries in. So weigh out a kilo of these fellas. There's a few of these are gone mouldy because they're getting a little bit old. So try and pick them out as best we can. Most of them looking pretty good. Yeah, I don't know actually what variety these are. I didn't check when I got them. They look like Supremes. So they're fairly juicy and sweet. They're not real tart. Previously I've used Ron's cherries, which is an old variety, very standard and well known. But Supremes are a newer variety, so they're a bit juicier, they're a bit sweeter. So that's what's going in. Yeah, they're real yummy. So just picking through them, and I'll pop these into the boil, and these will go for the last half hour, and we'll leave these behind when we transfer after we've cooled and go to the fermenter. Righto, chiller's in. And we're cooling down. If that'll pick up or not. Cherries have all sunk, you can't see them there. But anyhow, we'll come back soon and have a look at the yeast and numbers. Right, chill is as finished as it's going to get today. So down to 35, it's struggling to go any lower. Tap water's fitting on about 25 degrees, so probably should have set up the ice cooler with the Esky, but it's all good. So we'll transfer this now. Check this hydro sample in a minute, and we'll get this yeast on this and in the fridge. Righto, in the fermenter, bang on 12 litres, and okay, hydro is sitting on about 1040, so It's 15 degrees over, so it's probably about 10:42. We're going for 10:44, so efficiency is a bit less than I was aiming for, but that's all good. I'm happy with 10:42. That's no problem, so that's okay. Now, there's a little bit of a pinkish tinge to the sample. There's a slight note of the cherry there. Not a real lot, but I wasn't expecting a real lot from that. I said I will add the mush that I cooked up the other day, a couple of days in, about day 5, and we'll be fermenting with this fella, Imperial Kaiser. Now, so there's enough yeast in here to do a 19 litre batch at 10:42, so I'm got to do 12 litres. This is a little bit old, so I probably ideally should have done a starter on it, but I didn't actually check how old it was. I didn't think it was that old. I thought it was a little bit fresher than what it is, so I thought I was going to get away with it, but I think we'll be right. A bit of an underpitch won't hurt with the flavours and whatnot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull about 30 mils off into this jar, this demi, which is going to be for the other brew I've got going on the side at the same time. So I just want go about there. That brew's sitting here just cooling. I said there'll be a video coming on that in the future. It's going to go to the Patreons first. So all the Patrons, how you going? Thanks. So that video is going to go to you guys first, with recipe details, and then about a month it'll hit the main channel. So just going to pitch this directly now. This has been aerating nicely while it was cooling, and that should be it. Good to go. So that's it. This will go into the fridge, 18 degrees. This yeast recommends 13 to 18 degrees. So we'll go to the higher end. We're going to push some of the esters a little bit. And that's where we'll be. As I said, day 5 we'll pop the cherries in, and we'll see in a few weeks' time how she turns out. So that's me, Little John, for the day. Cherry Weissner, done, completed. So as always, if you got any comments or questions, ask away, stick them down the bottom. If you haven't subscribed to Little John, hit the subscribe button down there. Come along for the journey. There's always plenty going on. Again, Patrons, yeah, cheers for your support. There's a link down the bottom if you're interested in becoming a Patreon. Other than that, that's me, Little John, done for the day. So till I see you again, we're brewing beer, talking beer, or drinking beer, good brewing.